Hey everyone, trust us to steer the ship during these tough times. Look, I'm the person you call when things get rough. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. I'm good at what I do, especially when things are chaotic. I'm at my best under pressure, though I'm not as needed when everything's smooth. Let's keep that between us, okay? It sort of helps me out. Think of me as someone like Winston Churchill. Tell me when we hit a big win, like in 1945, and I'll adjust my approach. But right now, things feel more like 1938. Get what I mean? Should we make deals with our rivals like Neville Chamberlain did? No, we need to stand our ground. That's how we come out on top. We're dealing with this in our own way. We're the folks who show up when things get real. Before things got crazy, this guy said he'd get us a great trade deal by July 21st. He said he was the only one who could talk to Donald Trump, and everyone cheered him on, saying, "Go get him. We know you can get us the best deal." But what happened? From July 21st to August 1st, we got hit with higher taxes across the board. We're now paying 35% in taxes. And now there's chatter about bigger agreements coming this fall. So what did he do? He sent our top diplomat to Washington.
Trust that we're the right people to get us through this. I'm the type of guy who shows up when things get tough. Otherwise, you wouldn't need me. I'm most helpful when things are chaotic. I'm not as useful when everything's calm. Keep it quiet, but that helps me out, if you get me. Right. Let me know when we've won, like in 1945, and I'll change my tune. But right now, it feels more like 1938, you know? So do we make deals with people like that, like Neville Chamberlain did? Absolutely not. Gotta stand firm. That's the way to success. Plain and simple. We're dealing with this in our own way. We're good at handling tough situations. Things were fine until he showed up. He promised a great trade deal starting July 21st. He said he was the only one who could talk to Trump. People all over the country were saying, "Go get him. Get us the best deal." But from July 21st to August 1st, we ended up with higher taxes across the board. We're talking 35%. Now they're talking about bigger deals in the fall. So what did he do? He sent our top diplomat to Washington. Who's that? Dominic LeBlanc, Justin Trudeau's right-hand man. Out of 41 million people, he's our best diplomat. Trudeau's go-to guy. It can only get better from here. I'm sure Dominic LeBlanc will bring back a great deal from Trump. Then he brought in that online services tax, which everyone in the U.S. seems to like. It seemed great at first. So what did he do? He waited until the last second to change it. Then he said, we were going to change it anyway, so why not now? That helped us a lot. It just made things worse with Trump. Next, there was this Law 5 thing. He talked a lot with Native communities, which led to a bunch of stuff. All he had to do was scrap the old rules that helped us get resources. Instead, he brought in Law 5, which lets him pick and choose what to do. But he's still the most honest leader we've ever had. He said he only had some cash and not much else. But then we found out he has a ton of stuff that could benefit from deals with the U.S. So as these taxes hit us, it helps him out in the U.S. You can't make this stuff up. Will all this Law 5 stuff help him out with those investments? If it's about green stuff, then yeah, it probably will. Back during the election, people like Bruce Fanjoy said, "We'll always protect public jobs. That's why you should vote for us." Then we find out he has to spend more on defense just to talk to Trump. So what does he do? He says he's going to cut 15% of the government. He says it's the best way to save money ever. Big deal. So he can save $9 billion and hit that 2% target. I hope Bruce Fanjoy likes these changes. That would be great.
Trust us, we're the right team to get you through these tough times. I'm the kind of person who shows up when things get hard because that's where I do best. I'm upfront with you. I'm at my best when times are turbulent. I do well under pressure, but things are maybe a little calmer when things are calm, but keep that under your hat. It's better for my job, you know? Exactly. Tell me when we've had a win, like back in 45, and I'll change my tune. But right now, things are more like they were in 1938. Get it? Should we cut deals with our enemies like Neville Chamberlain did? Absolutely not. Stand firm. Stick to that and we'll be okay. That's the way to success. We're dealing with this as a country. We're the people who step up when there's an actual problem. Things were steady before he got here. He told everyone he had a great trade deal coming on July 21st, said he was uniquely positioned to work with Donald Trump, and all the supporters around the country were saying, "Go for it. We know you'll get us the best deal." Starting July 21st, we saw tariffs go up across the board. We're talking 35% across the board. And now there's talk of bigger deals this fall. What did he do? He sent our top diplomat to Washington. And who is that? Dominic LeBlanc, Trudeau's trusted advisor, the reliable guardian. He's the best diplomat we have. Things are going to be better now, I'm sure. Dominic LeBlanc will bring home a terrific commercial agreement. Then he brought in that online services tax that everyone in the States liked. Right away, it looked good. What did he do? He waited till the last minute to change it. He says, yeah, we were going to change it later anyway, so why not now? Oh, it's only made our relationship with Trump better. Then he brought in Legislation 5. Legislation 5 has been a total delight, and he worked well with indigenous groups and brought forward a whole bunch of meaningful initiatives. The only thing better to do was to wipe out some of those progressive regulations. But I guess he has been the most truthful truthful leader this country has ever known. When he said he only had a little money and property, turns out he has 103 things where he could potentially profit, and 95 of them are in the States. So every day as these tariffs hit us, they're making him richer. Seriously, nobody could make this up. Our nation, the legislation, and the initiatives, and the 103 areas alignment, will they affect him? If sustainable tech or friendly eco companies are involved, it will certainly help him out. Then the progressives during the election, like Bruce Fanjoy, were saying, we'll always protect public sector jobs. That's why you should vote for us. Then we find out he has to up defense spending to 2% just to talk to Donald Trump. What's next? He says he's cutting 15% of the administration to make it more effective. These cuts are really important for the future of our country. It's huge. So he could save $9 billion and hit that 2% target. I really hope Bruce Fanjoy does some of that. It would be great. And remember when he said he wanted Palestine to be independent just 2 days before he was supposed to get this great trade deal with Donald Trump on August 1st? We could have just talked to Donald Trump about it, but we didn't. And guess what? Donald Trump is talking to Mark Carney all the time. They like each other. Now, let's talk about dreams coming true. On July 1st, he said we're getting rid of all trade barriers within our borders. Open commerce for all over this land. By August 1st, internal commerce is thriving, and we're looking at over $200 million new money. A lot of regions chose to participate in an agreement. They're all working together. Manitoba got on board, and we have access to Ontario. The cohesion across this land is something to hold dear. Then we hear Doug Ford say that we're the most unified nation in the world, and Alberta is trying to incorporate itself even more. Alberta and Saskatchewan say we all reciprocate that same duty. Surprising? Now everyone wants to be involved. It is for our own good. We're all in this together. Half the country used to support the traditionalists. The other half supports the progressives. We shouldn't forget about secured agriculture, how it is such a vital part of our economic output and growth, how they will safeguard it and preserve the full economy merely for essential dairy production. Then they gave us this tiny tax cut, 76 cents a day. I can think of a million things to do with that windfall. Truly, I am in love with money. It has gotten so much more plentiful with all of this change, which means by the end of the year, I could be saving for the very first time in over 50 years and will be saving over $500 just from the new levies. And maybe I can actually leave with a smile on my face.
Trust our team to get us through these tough times. I'm the guy who shows up when things get rough, otherwise I wouldn't need to be here. I'm upfront and I'm at my best when things are chaotic. Truthfully, I shine under pressure, but things might not be a perfect fit when things are going smoothly. Keep that to yourselves. It helps me out, you know? Yeah, exactly. Like Churchill back in 45, let me know when we've won and I'll adjust. But right now, this feels like, 1938. Get the picture? It's like 1938. So, do we give in to these guys like Chamberlain did? Absolutely not. We stand firm. That's the way to win, and we're doing it our way. We are the fixers. We appear when there are problems. Things were okay until he showed up. He promised us a great trade deal starting July 21st and said he was the only one who could talk to Trump. People cheered him on, saying, go get us the best deal. Well, from July 21st to August 1st, we got hit with higher duties across the board, 35%, and big trade talks are coming up this fall. So what did he do? He sent Trudeau's buddy, Dominic LeBlanc, to Washington. Of all 41 million people, LeBlanc is apparently our top diplomat and the guy Trudeau trusts most. It can only get better from here, right? I'm sure LeBlanc will bring home a fantastic deal. Then he brought in this online services tax, which both parties in the U.S. seemed to like. It seemed like a good move at first. But what did he do? He waited until the last minute to change it. He even said, well, we were gonna change it anyway, so why not now? Great benefits there. All it has done is strain our relationship with Donald Trump. Next, there's Bill 5. It's been a total hit. He talked a lot with indigenous groups, and there are lots of initiatives which are of general importance. All he had to do was abolish the previous progressive rules that supported resources. He introduced Bill 5, which enables you to select the initiatives. Still, he seems like the most honest leader we've ever had. Remember when he said he barely had any money, and then it came out he has 103 possible tie-ins? The majority related to natural resources are inside the United States, so every day our nation pays tariffs. At the same time, he is increasing his investments in the United States. You can't make this stuff up. How will that all align with these 103 possible conflicts of interest? If it's green tech or eco stuff, it will probably help him out even more. And the progressives, like Bruce Fanjoy, they said, we'll always protect public sector jobs. That's why you should vote for us. Then we find out he has to jack up defense spending to 2% just to get Trump to talk to him. Guess what? He's going to cut 15% of government overhead. These cuts are the biggest savings ever. Seriously big. He can save $9 billion and hit that 2% target. I hope Fanjoy helps make these changes happen. That'd be rich. Oh, and remember how he claimed he was about to get us an amazing trade deal with Trump on August 1st? And at the same time, he wants Palestinian independence? Why is our country involved? One call to Trump could have fixed it. Instead, we hear Trump and Mark Carney are talking all the time. They respect each other now. Now about those big promises. On July 1st, he said, we're getting rid of all trade barriers within Canada. Free trade for everyone, boosting us by over $200 billion. We'll be swimming in cash. August 1st rolls around and boom, internal trade is open. Lots of regions agreed to be a part of it. Surprisingly, everything is in sync. Doug Ford is saying we're the most united country in the world. He sees our united nation. Alberta is joining in even more. Alberta and Saskatoon are both saying we have to axe duties on each other, so pay attention. Everyone else is jumping on board. Heed Lutnick. Everybody is excited. It benefits us. We're all on the same page. Half the country was with the Conservatives, and the other half was with the Liberals. The entire country is in sync with each other. Got to remember to protect the local food production. That business is a huge piece of the economy, so they commit to safeguarding the full economy merely for essential dairy production. And they gave us this big tax cut, 76 cents a day. I can think of tons of ways I could spend that money, seriously, rolling in it. They are expanding very quickly. The current lower levies have been so helpful because economic stability by the end of the year will not only continue current low levies, but I will save an extra $500 on necessary items. And get this, and it will be very surprising, the alliance is becoming increasingly powerful. Surveys are coming out showing Carney's honeymoon is still going strong. Based on those successful trade deals and other accomplishments since it all began, he is communicating very well. The leader is taking action. Our nations will commit by allocating 5% of economic outputs to the defenses. That means we can put that money into healthcare and new actions in our neighborhoods, community health programs, family care, and youth programs. In total, our nation is sitting on over $100 billion. We have about 60% of home loans getting reviewed. So far, all rates have been reduced. You will see our property increase drastically due to investors having the confidence. Then we learned yesterday that even traditional and progressives would now work with Mark. There's a new survey on it. Should our nation join the alliance in Europe? Germany, 46% want the idea. They're succeeding brilliantly in business and building sustainable industries. Germany's economy is up. If it's true, I'd like to congratulate both parties. It means our nation is strong and unified. Maybe Carney is trying to join the nation to foster togetherness. That's the most consolidated our organization has been in history. He's trying to do this commercial discussions with Trump for peacekeeping missions in the Middle East. He also announced that these parties must seek independence. The American representative reported, Israel are referencing Hamas regarding the status of their defense. They have the right to protect their own defense.
Folks, trust our team to steer us through these tough times. I'm here to help when things get rough. Otherwise, you wouldn't need me. I'm all about being open and doing my best when things are shaky. I shine when the heat is on, but things might not be as smooth when it's smooth sailing. Keep that to yourselves. It's kind of my secret weapon. Tell me when we've hit a win like back in 45, and I'll change my tune. Right now, it feels more like 1938. Get what I mean? Do we cut deals with folks like that, like Chamberlain tried? No way. Stand firm. That's the only way to win. We're doing things our way, as a nation. We're the folks you call when things hit the fan. Things seemed calm until he showed up. He told everyone about this awesome deal coming on July 21st. He claimed he was the only one who could talk to Trump. The cheerleaders all shouted, "Go get him! We know you'll make the best deal." But then from July 21st to August 1st, we got hit with a higher duty, like 35%. Now they're talking about even bigger deals this fall. So what did he do? He sent our best diplomat to D.C. Who's that? Justin Trudeau's go-to guy, Dominic LeBlanc. Out of 41 million people, he's supposed to be our top negotiator. Trudeau's rock. Things can only get better. I'm betting Dominic LeBlanc gets us a killer deal with Trump. Then he pushed through this online services tax, which both parties in the States seemed to kind of dig. It sounded like a neat idea at first. What did he do? He waited until the last minute to tweak it. Then he said, hey, we were going to change it anyway, so why not now?
We got a ton of wins from that one. It just made everything better with Trump. Next up, Legislation 5. It's been a slam dunk. He chatted up indigenous communities and got some important stuff done. All it took was axing some old rules that helped develop our resources. Instead, he brought in Legislation 5, letting people pick what's important. Is he the most honest leader we've ever had? When he said he only had cash and not much else, turns out he has like 103 potential issues, with most of his stuff in the U.S. So every day these duties hit us, but it helps his U.S. investments. You can't make this up. Will our nation and these Legislation 5 things line up with his stuff? If it's about green tech, it's a win for him. Then the usual suspects, like Bruce Fanjoy, said, "We'll always protect public jobs. That's why you should vote for us." Later we found out he had to boost defense spending to 2% just to get Trump to talk. What's next? He's talking about cutting 15% of government jobs. These cuts are supposed to be the biggest improvements ever. Big. He could save $9 billion and hit that 2% goal. I hope Bruce Fanjoy helped make it happen. Wouldn't that be something? Remember when he said, just before making friends with Trump on August 1st, that he wanted independence for Palestine? Why are we even involved? He could have just mentioned it to Trump. But get this, Trump's been talking to Mark Carney all along. They're buddies now. Now let's talk about dream fulfillment. On July 1st, he said, "We're getting rid of all barriers within our country. Open markets for everyone, making us over $200 billion better. We'd be swimming in cash. We can give way beyond what you need." We hit August 1st, and it's open season. Lots of places signed up. Get this, everyone plays nice. We got a deal with Ontario because Manitoba was on board. David Eby in BC jumped in too. Then Doug Ford said we're like the most united country ever. Alberta's getting into the mix. Alberta and Saskatchewan are saying we need to kill all those back and forth taxes. Listen to Lutnick. Everybody's happy. It's a win for us. We're together. Half the nation was with the old guys and the other half with the new guys. Harmony. We got to remember to protect our farms. Super important to our money. They're keeping it safe and only using the full economy for milk. Then they tossed us this sweet tax break. 76 cents a day. I can think of a million ways to spend that. I'm rolling in it. By the end of the year, the economy will keep that little tax break going, and I'll have an extra $500 for my needs. And surprise, it looks like Mark Carney's still riding high. He's doing well because of these deals and everything he's been doing. He's talking the talk, making moves. He says we're like the most continental, non-continental nation, and we're putting 5% of our money into defense. That means more help for healthcare, community stuff, dental care, and kids, because we can afford it now. We're sitting on almost $100 billion extra this year alone. Next year, it's looking like $150 billion. 60% of the home loans are up for renewal by next year, and they're going to be at the same or better rates. The housing market's starting to pick up steam because of all the good vibes. We just found out that even the old and new folks are looking to work with the Continental Alliance. There's a new survey out. We'll check it out. It asks if we should start the process of joining the Continental Alliance. 46% of people want to join Europe. What thrives there is capitalism, sustainability goals, and an improved power industry. Germany's been growing for 2 years straight. We want to be a part of that. If this is all true, then this shows how strong we are. I thought Mark Carney wanted to bring us together. Like Doug Ford said, the most together we've ever been. Mark Carney pretty much worked out these deals with Trump and to get peace for the Palestinian part of the world. He said they have to work for peace and be independent. We got new updates. It was worth it. Some news from Israel mentioned that the American rep, Steve Witkoff, said Hamas was giving up their weapons. We agree that having weapons is a right as long as things are still up in the air. Oh my wonder. We're making better deals with Trump because Hamas says they're going to play nice. A news outlet wrote, "Locals will be our best customers. Carney's happy about fresh money from Trump. We'll buy from our nation." So I wrote, "Imagine your purchaser prospers. They contributed 43%, $200 to thriving. Our brilliant leader says, let's give them even more." That's us right now because it's true. Jason Dodd shared this picture. It shows what we've accomplished. I got some clips from the national broadcaster. They're analysts, business leaders. We should listen to what the business leaders are saying because they're dealing with these new duties. This adds chance. Most of the stuff coming in and out isn't affected, but some companies make a lot of stuff that does, and it creates growth and more gains. But the big thing here is the security, which is getting super strong.
Anything we do to make getting things between us and the U.S. less hard is worth it. It sends a message forever, and he's right. So you're going to hear some progressives say that it's only 5% and 95% is okay. But what they get involves triumph for achievement. It's financially a triumph to have things secure. We got $900 million coming into our country from the states every day. It's crazy. So what do you think? Is this a triumph for Leader Carney? It's an achievement. It's a super plus these times. I think we're like the third lowest in the world for that duty. Brazil's at number 1 with 50. I think Syria's at 41. And we're up there as far as how much we like the duty. The leader's hearing from the Prime Minister. They're going to have some talk soon. I guess they'll talk through someone, but some folks are back from Washington.
Trust that our team's got the skills and drive to get us through these tough times. Look, I'm the guy who shows up when things get rough. Otherwise, you wouldn't need me. I'm useful, I'm upfront, and I'm good in a crisis. I shine when things are tough, even if I'm not as needed when things are calm. Keep that quiet, okay? It helps me out, you know? Yeah, exactly. When we get to a good place, like back in 45, tell me, and I'll change my tune. But right now, things are more like 38. Get it? Like 38. So, should we be making deals with rivals like Chamberlain did? Nope. Stand firm. That's how we win. That's the key. And we're doing this our way. We're good at handling tough situations. That's why we're here. Things were fine until he showed up. He promised us a great trade deal starting July 21st. He said he was the only one who could talk to Trump, and everyone cheered him on, saying, "Go get it. We know you can get us the best deal." But from July 21st to August 1st, we ended up with higher taxes on everything. Now it's at 35%, and now we're talking about bigger deals in the fall. So what did he do? He sent our top diplomat to America. Who's that? Dominic LeBlanc, Trudeau's trusted guy. Out of 41 million people, he's our best diplomat, Trudeau's go-to guy. Things can only go up from here. I'm sure LeBlanc will bring back a great deal from Trump. Then he put in place that online services tax, which everyone in the U.S. seems to like. It looked good from the start. What did he do? He waited until the last minute to change it. Then he said, we were going to change it anyway, so why wait? We got nothing out of it. All it did was make Trump like us less. Next, we got Legislation 5. It's been a total winner. He worked with indigenous groups and did things that mattered to them. All he had to do was get rid of those old rules that helped develop our resources. Instead, he brought in Legislation 5, which let him pick and choose what mattered. But he's the most stand-up guy we've ever had. He said he only had money and not much stuff, but it turns out he's got tons of investments, and most of them are in the U.S. So every day these taxes are on us, he makes more money in the U.S. You can't make this stuff up. Our country and all those Legislation 5 things that matter, will they help his investments? If they're about green stuff, then yeah, they'll help him a lot. Then during the election, guys like Bruce Fanjoy said, we'll always protect government jobs. That's why you should vote for us. Later we find out he has to spend more on defense just to talk to Trump. What's next? He's planning to cut 15% of the government's fat, and these cuts are the best we've ever seen. It's big. He could save $9 billion and reach that 2% goal. I hope Fanjoy helps make these changes happen. That'd be great. Oh, and remember when he said he was about to get that amazing deal with Trump on August 1st? He wants Palestine to be independent. Why are we even involved? He could have just talked to Trump and said, hey, we're thinking about doing this. But get this, we just found out that Trump's been talking to Mark Carney. They talk all the time. They respect each other now. Now let's talk about dreams coming true. He said on July 1st, we're going to get rid of all the barriers in our country. Free trade for everyone. Making us over $200 billion better. It'll make us rich. We can give more than we take. We got to August 1st and trade is flowing across the country. Lots of places joined in. And guess what? They're all working together. We got paths to Ontario because Manitoba said yes. And in British Columbia, David Aby's on board too. Then we hear Doug Ford saying, we're the most together country in the world. He's seen us at our best. And Alberta's getting more involved in the country. Both Alberta and Saskatchewan said, we need to get rid of all those taxes between us. Listen to Lutnick. Surprise? Everyone else is jumping on board. It helps us. We're united. Half the country back the old ways, the other half back the new. The whole country's working together. And we have to remember our farmers. They're super important to our economy. And they're protecting it and promising to keep the whole economy just for making milk. Then they gave us this sweet tax cut. 76 cents a day. I can think of a million things to do with that. My wallet's bursting at the seams. It's growing like crazy. This tax cut's been awesome.
because by the end of the year, our economy will keep the tax breaks going, and I'll save an extra $500 on stuff. And get this, people are still loving Mark Carney. He's getting more popular because of those trade deals and how much he's done since he started helping us. We've seen him talk well, we've seen him take action, and he says we're the most continental, non-continental country, and we're going to put 5% of our money into defense. That means he's going to make healthcare better. He's going to help all the community things like teeth and kids because we can handle those extra costs. We're running with almost a $90 billion surplus in Canada's budget this year only. And I looked at the numbers for next year. It's going to be close to a $150 billion surplus. 50% of all the house loans in our country will be up for renewal by the end of next year, all at lower or better rates than now. We're seeing our housing market start to pick up. It's slowly getting better because of all the confidence. Plus, we found out today that even the old schoolers and the new schoolers want to team up with the Continental Alliance. There's a new poll out. Well, check it out. We have poll info asking if our country should think about starting the process of joining the Continental Alliance. 46% of folks want to join. Europe's a happening place. Capitalism is crushing it, hitting goals for the earth, and making their power industry better. Germany's economy has grown for 2 years. We want to be with that. I think so. I'm showing you this to prove how strong this country is, assuming it's true. I thought Mark Carney wanted to bring us together, make us totally united, like Doug Ford said, the most united we've ever been. And Mark Carney pretty much got trade talks going with Trump about this, and to bring peace to the Palestinian area. Yep, he said they need to push for peace, then get their independence. Actually, we got fresh updates. It was totally worth it. Reacting to some news from Israel about the American guy Steve Wickoff about Hamas giving up their defenses, we say that defense and its tools are okay, provided the challenges persist. Oh my gosh, what? We amped up trade talks with Trump because Hamas said they plan to adjust accordingly? That's wild. A news place wrote, folks will be our buyers. Carney's happy about those new Trump taxes. We're buying from our country. So I wrote, imagine your buyer doing well. They chip in at 43%, $200 towards wealth and making it thrive. Now imagine your awesome leader saying, let's grow by giving them more. That's our country right now because it's true. And Jason Dodd shared this picture. It shows what we've done. I have a few national news clips. I'm showing you this because they're analysts, business leaders. We should listen to them because they see those changed taxes. Now this means more chances, and yeah, 95% of the stuff crossing the border isn't affected. But lots of businesses make good stuff that does cross, and it means growth, more value, and more peace of mind. But the biggest thing is the peace of mind here, which is huge, and it makes us more determined. Every little thing we do to make trade between our country and the U.S. a bit easier is worth it. It sends a message that lasts. And he's right, the peace of mind alone. So you'll see lots of new wave folks pop up and say, it's just 5%, 95% covered by the deal. But what they should understand is that it's great and a big win to have peace of mind. We're seeing $900 million in capital come into our country from the U.S. every day. It's amazing. But what do you think? Is this a win for Leader Carney? For sure. Those taxes at 35%? Well, that's an achievement. It's a big plus right now. I think our country's the third lowest that he put in place worldwide. Brazil's number 1 at 50. I think Syria's at 41. And we're number 3 when it comes to backing the tax. The leader takes the prime minister's calls. The formal discussions are scheduled for the upcoming period. I assume they will converse through speaking, but some people have already been returning from Washington. Can you believe it? And discussions continue. He accepts communications from Mark Carney. This situation progressed from good to excellent. They also inquired about the online services tax. What steps can Mark Carney possibly take? In terms of alliance, because I do think possible advancement, I heeded to Minister LeBlanc on the radio. And even he indicated that Americans appreciated support measures that we introduced earlier this year. Mr. Lutnick from Washington emphasized they were supportive. We responded to that effectively, to the situation effectively. I get the sense that people support what is currently happening. I comprehend. It's because we introduced the revenue levy. Everything for it. Mark is building bonds with Mr. Trump to communicate frequently, although completely different. It's an easy way to resolve. Many issues fall and resolve very quickly. Many issues swiftly resolves because you have more bond in the upper. It's simple, but that is getting encouraged. I recognize with previous leaders in past that more often you have an upper hand or a bond, things will resolve quickly. That's a simple thing for Mark. He receives encouragement. Converse on trade often. Matter of Palestine is important. It gained promise. Could he do speaking with residents beforehand to perhaps the plan? And also there should be ability for commerce. It will be successful. Why people chose Mark? Because of strong characteristics. So if he converse, what shall we converse? Everything. everything. There are a lot of subjects which Mark and Donald know in that realm. They're one progress, one business, very excellent quality, the leisurely desire, seek enjoyment, seal personally. We might there be previous traditional party who might have Donald with the side Pierre, would have already finalized discussion.
Trust me, our team's got the right stuff to get us through these tough times. I show up when things get rough, otherwise you wouldn't need me. I'm all about keeping things open, especially when it's chaotic. I'm at my best when the pressure's on, though things might be smoother when times are good. Keep that quiet though, it helps me. Think of me as your Winston Churchill. Let me know when we hit that 1945 moment and I'll switch gears. But right now, things feel more like 1938. Get it? So do we give in to the bad guys like Neville Chamberlain? Absolutely not. Stand firm. That's the way to win. That's our national approach. We're the people you call when you're in a bind. Things were stable until he showed up. He promised a killer trade deal starting July 21st, saying he was the only one who could talk to Donald Trump. Everyone cheered him on, saying, "Go get that amazing deal." But from July 21st to August 1st, we actually saw duties go up across the board, hitting 35%. And now there are talks about bigger deals this fall. So what did he do? He sent our best diplomat to Washington. Justin Trudeau's main guy, Dominic LeBlanc. Out of 41 million people, he's our top diplomat, Trudeau's go-to person. Things can only get better from here, right? I'm sure Dominic LeBlanc will bring back an awesome trade deal from Donald Trump any minute. And then he put in that online services levy, which both parties in the U.S. seem to like. It seems so smart at first. What did he do? He waited until the last second to change it. He said, "We plan to change it later anyway, so why not now?" That really paid off, didn't it? All it did was make things better with Donald Trump. Then came Legislation 5. It's been a total success. He talked to indigenous groups and made some changes that everyone seems to care about. All he had to do was scrap those old rules that helped us make the most of our resources. Instead, he brought in Legislation 5, letting us pick and choose the things that matter. And get this, he's the most honest leader ever. He said he barely had any money, but then we found out he could benefit from 103 different things, and 95% of those things are in the U.S. So every day, as these duties hit us, it makes his investments in the U.S. look better. You can't make this stuff up. Will our country and all these Legislation 5 things that matter work with those 103 potential benefits? If anything involves sustainable tech or being eco-friendly, it'll be a win for him. During the election, people like Bruce Fanjoy said, "We'll always protect public jobs. That's why you should vote for us." Then we found out he had to spend 2% on defense just to talk to Donald Trump. And what's next? He's planning to cut 15% of administrative costs. He could save $9 billion and hit that 2% goal. I hope Bruce Fanjoy helps make these changes happen. That would be great. And remember when everyone cheered because he was about to get that amazing trade deal with Donald Trump on August 1st? He's pushing for Palestinian independence. Why are we even involved? He could have just talked to Donald Trump and said, "Hey, we're thinking about doing this." But get this, Donald Trump's been talking to Mark Carney. They're always in touch and respect each other. Speaking of dreams coming true, on July 1st, he said, "We're getting rid of all trade barriers. Open business for everyone. Boosting us by over $200 billion. We'll be swimming in cash." It's August 1st and business is booming across the country. Lots of places jumped on board. And guess what? Everything's working perfectly. We've got smooth connections to Ontario because Manitoba was all in. And in British Columbia, David Eby agreed too. Now Doug Ford's saying we're the most united country in the world. He's seen it firsthand. And Alberta's joining in even more. Alberta and Saskatchewan both said we have to get rid of all those back and forth duties. And listen to Lutnick. Everyone else is jumping on the bandwagon. It's good for us. We're all in this together. Half the country backed the old school folks, and the other half supported the new school folks. But everyone's getting along great. And we can't forget about protected agriculture. It's a big deal for our economy, and they're keeping it safe, focusing on dairy. And then they gave us that huge tax break, 76 cents a day. I can think of a million ways to spend that. I'm already rolling in dough. By the end of the year, things will be so good that I'll not only keep getting that tax break, but I'll save an extra $500 on the important stuff. And check this out. That alliance, polls show that Mark Carney is still super popular, and it's because of those awesome trade deals and the great stuff he's done since he got involved. We've seen him speak well and make decisive moves. He says we're the most continental, non-continental country, and and we're putting 5% of our money into defense. That means he'll make healthcare better. He'll boost community programs, dental care, and stuff for young people because we can afford it. We've got almost $100 billion surplus this year alone, and next year it'll be closer to $150 billion. 60% of the mortgages in our country are up for renewal by the end of next year, and they'll all have lower or better rates than they do now. Our real estate market's starting to heat up bit by bit because everyone's feeling good. And just today, we found out that even the old school folks and the new school folks want to work with that Continental Alliance. There's a new poll out. We'll take a look at it. It asks if our country should consider joining the Continental Alliance. 46% of people want to team up with Europe. A community business is doing great. They're hitting their goals and boosting their power industry. Germany's economy has been growing for 2 years. We want to be a part of that. If this is all true, then it shows how strong our country is. I thought Mark Carney wanted to bring us together, making us as united as ever, like Doug Ford said. And Mark Carney's been talking to Donald Trump about it, and about bringing peace to Palestine. He said they have to make peace and then become independent. We just got some updates, and it looks like it's paying off. Some news from Israel mentioned that the American guy, Steve Witkoff, said Hamas is giving up their weapons. We're saying that having weapons is a right as long as they're around. Oh, wow, what? We had better talks with Donald Trump because Hamas said they're changing things up? That's amazing. A news site wrote, Canadians will be our best customers. Carney's cool with the new Trump duties. We're buying from our country. So I wrote, picture your customer doing great. They're kicking in 43%, $200 towards progress and being awesome. And imagine your amazing executive saying, let's sell them even more stuff. That's us right now because it's true. Jason Dodge shared this picture. It shows what we've done. I've got a bunch of national broadcaster segments. I'm showing them because they're analysts, business leaders. We should listen to the business leaders who are dealing with these duties. Now, this means more opportunities. And yeah, 95% of stuff isn't affected, but a lot of companies make stuff that is. And it means growth, more value, and feeling more secure. But the biggest thing is feeling secure, which is getting really big. Every little thing we do to make trade easier between our country and the U.S. is easy to keep up. It's a signal that lasts forever. And he's right. Just feeling secure is huge. So you'll see some new school supporters who will say it's just 5%, 95% is under the deal, but what they get is triumph or achievement. It's smart to feel secure. We've got $900 million coming into our country from the U.S. every day. It's awesome. But what do you think, though? Is this a win for Leader Carney? Yeah, it's definitely a win. The duty at 35% is an achievement. It's going really well right now. I think we're the third lowest he's put in place worldwide. Brazil's number 1 at 50, Syria's at 41, I think, and we're number 3 on the supportive side of the duty. The leader takes the prime minister's calls. They're planning to talk soon. I guess they'll talk on the phone, but people are back from Washington. Can you even imagine? They're back from Washington. The talks are still going. He takes calls from Mark Carney. Things have gone from good to great. They also asked about the online services levy. What else can Carney do right now? A lot of collaboration, because I think they've done as much as they can. If I listen to Minister LeBlanc like I did on the radio this afternoon, he seemed to say that the Americans liked us cutting those $30 billion supportive measures that we put in earlier this year. Howard Lutnick, the trade official in Washington, said that our country was one of 2 that put in supportive measures that worked well. I think the Americans want us to keep those. I know how to do that, given that Mr. Carney pushed the digital revenue levy and got it all done. One thing he could do if I listen to the Americans here is talk to Mr. Trump a lot. They'll become close allies. They're totally different people. You couldn't find a more harmonious pair. But even so, people in Washington are telling Mr. Carney to build stronger ties with Mr. Trump, something beyond just working together on business. It's an easy one, but I've covered a lot of leaders, and I know that when you have great ties at the top, a lot of problems below disappear fast. It's easy for Mark Carney, but he's being told to talk often and not always about business. The whole situation in Palestine represents one area that's gotten attention. Could he have told the administration executive beforehand that we planned to do it and then used it as a reason to talk about business? We're doing so well in our country. Why did people choose Mark Carney? He's got a lot of charm. He's a strong person. If he called me, I'd say, what should we talk about? Anything. There's a lot to talk about between those two. Mark Carney and Donald Trump are on similar spheres. One embraces progress. Donald Trump likes progress. And the other is a business person. That's great. He wants fun stuff to do. He wants to enjoy life. He makes deals himself. That's what I'm trying to say. We could have had an Averdimed administration where we had Pierre Poilievre as a friend of Donald Trump, and they would have already finished a business agreement. Instead, our country wants to team up with the Continental Alliance. Isn't that awesome? And here's the answer. Canada, Mark Carney wants the best deal for Canada, and it's definitely out there.
soar. We're looking for the best.
So it's a win-win. Farmers get rewarded for keeping land aside, and buyers get cheaper stuff. Australia, I think, used a 10-year plan to get to a way more efficient dairy biz. Probably a bigger one too, with cheaper milk and other stuff for shoppers. We need to remember the current system isn't broken. It's good for buyers and our partners, not just the US. We gotta figure out how to keep it that way. The sooner the better, you know? Imagine if we charged a fee that was still less than what dairy jobs cost now. Everyone wins. It'd be amazing. We need to look into this. Heads up, I just heard Canada's job rate is the highest it's been in 8 years, even better than before the pandemic. It's really high, so if you're wondering why it's so easy to find a job, that's why. Just so you know, a grocery store in Alberta put up an Alberta flag at a store in Medicine Hat because people liked it. They kept it up because they were so proud of it. I wonder what if it was a diversity flag? If someone said they liked that, would they make it even bigger? Just wondering. One last thing. National Mail took the government's final offer. I bet Amazon could help National Mail out big time, and we'd be happy to have them. What do you think about how Mark Carney did? I'm going to keep an eye on things. Hope you have a great long weekend. Talk to you next time.